Yes, that's us.
Hi, I'm Liz.
Hi.
We are so happy you're okay, Anne. My goodness, what an ordeal. So we'll have you come over here.
All right.
And I understand. Oh, 1 second.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right, so we have like a couple minutes here.
All right.
So,
I should turn my cell phone off. It never stops.
okay, that would be ideal. I'm sure people are trying to reach you a lot now.
Inundating me with calls, yes.
So you were rescued on April 9th, right?
That is correct.
Okay,
yes.
so a few days ago. How long did you spend in the hospital?
About 4 hours.
So, and then you were done.
Released that night.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
My son and my daughter and son-in-law were all there and already had a hotel room in Payson.
Wow.
So I was able at that time to be released and went to the motel and had a very long, hot shower.
Good for you. Good for you. And your dog's okay? Your cat's okay?
Both of them are wonderful. Queenie is with us at Jer's right now. She's doing great. She's got some meat back on her bones as well. And my cat is with the Rangers, still up near Civicu.
And you're going to get the cat back on Friday, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The car, the cat.
Okay, good.
Back again,
so the car, you don't even have the car.
That's correct. My Ford Fusion hybrid is still there. And on Friday, we are all joining to.
Okay, here, stand by 1 second, okay?
Right.
I'm gonna start on a two-shot of you guys.
Okay.
Who's this?
9 days in the middle of nowhere, and this woman right here, Anne Rodgers, 72 years old, was able to survive. And we're so happy you're okay. So first of all, I want to ask you, because there's some confusion here, how did you get from Tucson? You were trying to get to Phoenix, and then you went all the way up to the northeast side. How did that happen?
I was headed for Phoenix, and the location of the living quarters of my son, Jeffrey Townsend Jones, my daughter-in-law, Fazia Jones, first in Cave Creek, which is in the northern part of Arizona. Yeah.
So you just got very lost.
So yes, I very definitely took a long, wrong turn on the 202, should have gone north on the 101. I did not. I ended up circling up and over, but knew I could get back from Globe. Took another wrong turn that took me to the place I ended up near Civicu.
Okay, you ran out of gas, you had a hybrid vehicle that ran out of charge, but you were able to stay in your car for how many days before venturing off?
I stayed because I arrived where the electric shut down on my vehicle, the Ford Fusion, at sundown. I stayed that night in the vehicle. I had plenty of warm clothing, supplies, and all of that.
Food and water too, right?
Food and water as well. And so the dog, the cat, I were fine that night. We stayed very warm, even though it went well below freezing that night.
Okay, so when did you decide that you wanted to go off and venture off into the wilderness there?
I hiked actually the next day with the dog up to the top of a mesa to try and get cell phone communication again. There was nothing. No power poles, no signs of vehicles, ranch, anything out there. So I realized that I was in a situation that had to change very definitely, very quickly. Hiked back down, slept halfway down that mesa the next night, but had binoculars with me. So that next morning, early morning light, I did a binocular search everywhere and spotted the river running in the canyon that I ended up hiking down with my dog Queenie.
And this whole time you did not see a soul?
That's correct.
Okay.
Except in aircraft flying east and west over me all the time, which was very frustrating.
I could imagine so. Yes. So how is that? So then you were there for how many days? 9 days, right?
Correct.
So what happened in between those 9 days? You were, scrounging around looking for food. How did you know what to eat?
Well, I have been doing survival training skills for a very long time. I'm a very avid reader as well. And I have lived in Tucson for many, many years, so I learned a lot about the plants, vegetation that are edible, the ones that are toxic, the ones that you might want to get high on, but I would rather not. And
Wise.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I knew what plants to eat along the river. And my dog discovered even more, was eating clover, which really surprised me for a dog to be doing. Mm-hmm. But she'd chomp it on down, and then she'd run off and find something else to chomp on. Mm-hmm. So she was quite the forager.
And yes. Queenie, your dog,
that's correct.
She helped you throughout this whole ordeal, didn't she?
Absolutely did. She is, I call her Queenie Pathfinder because of her long legs and her inquisitive nose, etc. She found the right game trails or cow path for us to follow through the sticky brush and all of the trees and such along the riverside. So, yes.
At what point did you make that help sign?
I made that, I think that was the 5th day out. Mm-hmm. Yes. That's when we found the caribou, the elk. I'm used to being up in Colorado where there are caribou.
Sure.
Yeah. The elk 12-point rack, mm-hmm. and a whole carcass. Mm-hmm. While Queenie went nuts chewing on the bones, I took the skull, detached it from the spinal column, and drug it out there on that beach, where I also left this help sign made of stones and rock, the white sticks from the trees.
You know, as you're putting this help sign together, like you said, out of rocks and sticks, you have this huge skull with you. Right. I mean, I can imagine at this point you're thinking to yourself, I could never imagine that I'd be in a situation like this in my life.
Right. That's true. But I also knew that there had to be signals, something that could be seen from way up there that would be large enough to read and or understand that someone was in distress below.
Mm-hmm. It was cold out there.
Very.
How did you survive in that?
I dressed in layers. I was taught this by my daughter-in-law, Fazia Jones, long ago, because she's the same size as I am and has little bird bones as I do, too. I had 3 layers of everything on, tights, riding pants, sweatpants, and same on the top. I had layered sweater, shirt, etc. And my final jacket was lined with mylar, mm-hmm. parka, actually, with fur collar and all of that, and little mitts that came out of the sleeves. So I could be warm enough. And these were the boots.
Look at those.
Which are scarred, burned from the campfire, etc., but they kept me warm the entire time.
Mm-hmm. So lastly, just tell me about that moment when you realized you were finally safe and rescued.
I was so happy. I had my red carry bag with my docks in it. I took the docks out and I started waving that bag in every direction, jumping up and down, and yeah, I was hollering like they could hear me. But anyway, yes, I finally understood that I had to stop, not only because I was so depleted physically, but that was an endless canyon. I had to stop, and the location had a wide sandstone ledge area as well as a grassy meadow place where a smaller helicopter could land. Mm-hmm. I knew it had to be air rescue.
All right. Well, Anne, thank you so much for speaking with us. Again, we are so happy that you're okay. Your dog's okay, your cat's okay, everyone's fine. Amazingly. Too. Oh, man. All right. Back to you guys.
All right, guys, that wraps up the press conference, not really the press conference, the one-on-one interview that Liz had with Ann Rodgers. In fact, we're going to actually be learning even more information as we're going to be doing a live stream of the press conference itself. A live stream of the press conference itself. It's supposed to start momentarily. Let's continue to watch.
Actually, maybe this will be more like a press conference here.
Deal with minutes.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and bring it first. How you doing? Good? Okay. Can you talk a little bit about your dog?
I
We're
certainly
getting
can.
a lot of questions about breed, how
Right.
she's doing, all that kind of good stuff.
I will certainly do so,
all right.
yes.
Yeah, we're gonna throw one more. How you doing, Ann?
I'm doing okay.
I'm gonna throw this on. Do we have a pocket here? Can I clip
Yep.
that right there?
There's a bucket.
And then we'll
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
bring it up here.
Another one? Yes. Oh boy. I got another bucket over here. I'll put the cell phone somewhere. Here too.
Yeah. You're not hearing it? Okay.
Are you not picking her out?
No, I am.
Okay.
We're trying to, if there's interference, we're shutting off each mic, trying to figure out which one it was. So I needed you to shut the back on.
You just stand talking into it now.
I feel like a giant pincushion right now.
No kidding. Mannequin with electronic.
Yes. We're just so excited to hear from you as I.
One more. Sorry about that.
I can't get the audio on this, so I'm gonna have her look at you guys, but stand here.
The gal in the blue, just talk to her.
Oh, no, you're fine right
Okay, we're not
Stay
We're not
right
stay
here.
right
Talk to her.
Just talk to her. There you go.
We need.
Everyone,
Yep.
Ann Rodgers, last name is spelled Rodgers. So I'll let you.
All right. So if you want to kind of start and tell us, your car broke down, and then what?
And after the car broke down, I spent the night in the car with my dog Queenie and my cat Nike. We had plenty of supplies, warm blankets, clothing, food, water, everything. But the temp dropped below freezing, and it was a clear night sky. I know how to layer clothing to stay warm in situations like this, and always do so since I'm a kind of a bird bone body here. And that's what we did. But it took some time for the sun to come up in the morning when it was finally warm enough that we could get out without our breath fogging in our faces. I started to scope out the situation as far as why there had been no vehicles going by, no signs of humanity at all, nothing. I had binoculars, and so I decided to hike down the road, try and find the ranch that I had originally passed a long time ago, actually, on that road. And I took Queenie with me, left Nike with the car with the food and water. As I hiked down that road and kept hiking down that road, I realized it was way, way further than I was going to be able to make in one night or day. So I turned back and decided to hike instead up one of the mesas that was visible very close to that dry wash that we were next to. Take my binoculars and try and see where there might be some signs of humanity around me. It took a day to get up there, and there were none. There was no cell phone reception whatsoever. So I turned around, Queenie and I made it halfway back down. That whole climb spent it halfway down on a ledge, basically. And then afterwards, the next morning, continued the journey down to where I had seen a river flowing beside that mesa.
And will you talk a little bit about your resourcefulness along this journey, what you ate, what you drank, and where you found all this?
Certainly. I've done a lot of study and reading and taken classes and seminars and so forth in survival, especially in the desert. I've lived here a long time, so it made good sense to me to do so. And so I knew which plants I could eat, and I knew most of them grew along water. That's why that moving water was very important, besides which we needed water by then. And that's how I chose the plants I did to eat, to survive on. And also, Queenie became a greenery forager as well, which really fascinated me. She was eating clover, which is bitter and ugh. But anyway, we kept trekking as long as I could go each day. But as soon as that sun started to drop below those high walls, I had to stop, get my campsite ready, make my campfire, bring in the wood to keep it going all night.
And so you had a lighter with you?
I did,
And
yes.
you said that you made signal fires at one point?
I did. Excuse me. I finally decided that certainly if I build a big enough fire with enough smoke, somebody up there in those airplanes and the helicopters that were going back and forth over me would see it. No, didn't happen.
And can you talk a little bit about how you made that big help sign and why you decided to do it?
I do need a drink of water or something, please. Thank you. Yes, we found the elk skull and carcass.
Both of you were on board, right? Or was it just... Okay. This is great. Yeah. Mike! I'm Liz. What is this home? Lowell. Liz. Tiffany. Tiffany and Lowell. Okay, nice to meet you guys. Good to see you. Tiffany. Yes. So, you guys were on the helicopter that eventually saved something. Okay. And from what I understand, you guys were alerted by a game and fish?
Gila County called us.
Okay.
Were you guys initially called me?
Initially on April 3rd, White Mountain Reservation game and fish. And that was the first time I was out there.
Okay.
Tiffany was on an earlier flight searching for him on April 3rd, but they didn't find her.
Okay.
I wasn't on that flight. I was on the
Flight that
we
saved her.
found her.
Okay. Okay. Tiffany, I'll have you come over here then because I'll talk to you about your part in this first and then I'll come over to you. Lowell, right? Lowell. Okay. So you went out and you were looking for her after finding the note? Or
No.
was the note, where was the note?
We found that. It was the help sign she put on the sand. We found that on the day that we found her.
I see. Okay. So when you went out there, you didn't find anything.
We didn't even search the canyon that she was actually in. We were searching a bunch of the other canyons.
And the game and fish official saw her dog, and
That was on the day that we
That
found
was on the day we found her.
So-
She had the dog with her until the day we found her. The dog had gotten away, and
So day 9 was a big day.
day 9 was a big
That's
day.
where
That's when most
everything
things
was.
happened.
So, what made you go out there to look for her? Just because you saw the
The reservation game and fish had located her car.
her
on
car.
the 3rd.
That's what. So the car was found first.
That's when they called us to initially go out. We only had less than an hour of daylight when we actually got down there, so we
Okay,
didn't have a
great.
lot of time to look.
Okay. So I'll talk to Tiffany first, and then maybe we have her move, and then I'll. Okay. Okay. So once I'm finished, once we're finished talking about your side of everything, I'll start walking in front of you. Yeah, and you can just walk over this way.
Coming over.
Do you just want to start in the middle of them? You can go left to right.
We could. Would that be
that.
easier?
Yeah, that's easy. We'll just, perfect, right there. And then we'll just, that way you don't have to step out. You just stay right where you are. This will be perfect. Do you want that off?
What?
Your sweater?
Yeah.
Yes, your IFB attached.
Is it attached?
No.
It's not.
No, it's just,
Thank you.
stood around there.
Okay. Okay. All right, we have like a minute.
Because I'm going to step right on that. You know that.
Okay. Oh, okay, we have a couple minutes.
I wonder if all this is being streamed.
I think. Oh.
Watch her.
Yeah.
No gang signs.
No gang signs.
No problem.
Yeah, no problem.
This is the part of the show where we wait for the anchors to shut up. God bless them.
So you guys are listening, I guess. So
Yeah. His earpiece, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were trying to tell me something. I was like, you're going to speak clearer than that.
Oh, they're going to Anita first? Okay. All right, we have like a minute and a half. So when you went and looked for her and didn't find anything, is that when everything ended, or you guys continued to search? Because obviously there's this car that belongs to someone, right?
Well,
Our Phoenix helicopter starts the next day.
The day that we came out, the reservation game and fish had it. The next day they turned it over to the Healy County Search and Rescue Team.
Okay.
And they had been out there since the 4th on.
Okay, but it wasn't until...
It was, yeah, coordinating
We
efforts.
flew, our rescue flew on it 3 total days. They flew Sunday, which was the 3rd, Monday the 4th, which was, neither one of us were on that flight, and then the 9th, whenever we
And the 9th, you guys spotted the help sign and then alerted people on the ground to go and check it out.
What initiated the flight on the 9th was they found footprints in the wash.
I see.
And that's what started.
I'm rolling on this.
Oh, you are? Okay. So, okay. Go on, I'm sorry.
What initiated the search on the 9th was they found footprints in the wash. Gila County Search and Rescue Team found footprints in the wash. So they called us out as new information for us to search. So it gave us a concentrated area to fly on. So we began searching the wash downstream. That's the direction the footprints were moving from where they were. And that's when we located the elk skull first, which was right next to the help sign.
Okay.
So as I saw the elk skull, I began to descend and got lower and looking closer, and then I noticed that there was also a help sign there. So we notified the ground searchers, and they were only a half a mile from that help sign.
Okay.
So they came down, and then they read the note.
And the note
there.
was at the help
And the
sign.
note was
Okay.
dated April 2nd.
2nd, okay.
And she had been without food for 3 days at that point.
Okay.
So even at that point, we're April 9th, we're 7 days behind when she left the note.
Okay.
Yeah, we're still thinking it's a recovery
Sure.
option at that point.
Where was the cat this whole time?
I don't know.
Okay, one.
The cat actually was located in the car that first
Okay.
day.
Wait, here we go, guys. It was so interesting, amazing experience hearing from this woman how she was able to survive out in the middle of nowhere for 9 days. So we heard her side. Now let's go to another side of all of this, the side of the first responders. We have 2 of the people with DPS who helped in this search and the search operation here. So we're going to start with you, Tiffany, because you were in the beginning stages of all of this. So what happened? So who found the car first?